Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into this week's Productive Agent Podcast. My name is Tony Ruiz, and I'm the founder and host of the Productive Agent Podcast and Facebook group. Today, I'm joined by a phenomenal agent here in San Antonio, two-time icon agent, Mr. Alan Lozano of the Property Hermanos Group. Welcome to the show, man.
How's it going, Tony? Hey, I think I finally bugged you right to the perfect extent, man. I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a long time, so thank you for having me, man.
Well, I really appreciate your persistence and bugging me, and it's not that I didn't want you, but I was like, man, I got to have both of them on, and I didn't have the equipment. I need to go out and just purchase a couple more mics and be done with it so I don't run into that. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm excited to pick your brain, and you're a great storyteller, so it's going to be fun.
For sure.
Right on, man. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us who Alan Lozano is, and where are you from, where'd you go to school, those types of things before real estate.
Sure. So born and raised in San Antonio. I love everything about San Antonio.
Yeah.
Went to St. Anthony's for middle school, then went to Central Catholic for high school. My brother and I both went to both proud Central grads.
Yeah.
And yeah, we grew up here and we love it here. And
y'all just had an alumni association gathering recently, like a week ago or something.
We just
like that?
Celebrated our 20-year reunion from Central Catholic. So good times. It was good to catch up with all the guys. And
so what year did you graduate?
I graduated 2003, and my brother graduated 2005.
Okay. Yeah, I was 02 from MacArthur High School, and my brother was 05 from MacArthur as well.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Y'all used to beat the tar out of us every time we played y'all. So.
Yeah, well, they were pretty good back then.
Yeah.
It had a pretty good team. So, yeah. Well, cool, man. And talk to us about, I see all your stuff on social media, and you're very present, and it's really good stuff. But you have a background in music, and we kind of connected. I'm a band nerd, but you're the rock star. So tell us a little bit about how you got into that.
Well, I very far from a rock star, but I appreciate the sentiment. No, so my brother and I played music for a long time, and we were going for the big time, trying to do everything we could. We wanted to do it for a living, and did it for a long time. Started when I was 13. Daniel was 11, and did it all the way up until my early 30s. We were going for the big time. We had major management, and we, cut records out in the West Coast. And, my brother became a recording engineer. We started doing, producing our own records. And we had fun. We went on tours and opened for some great bands, and we had the best time ever. It was just super hard to make ends meet as far as money went.
Yeah.
And, a lot of money went out the door. Very little came in the door.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every opportunity we had was just more putting in. More. Yeah. And, we were hoping we came close a couple times, but wouldn't take it back for the world. And really our background in music was a perfect segue to get into real estate because music is all about self-promotion, right? Yeah. And pushing your product, and people need to know who you are. And, so going into real estate, it was a perfect segue. We were real accustomed to that.
That's pretty cool. So how did you get into music when you were 13 years old? Were you in band? Did your parents play music? Did you just pick up a guitar one day and decide I'm going to learn this? How'd that work?
So the funny story is my dad would always play the drums, but like air drums. Okay. And there was one day he bought a pair of drumsticks, and all of a sudden the steering wheel on his car became his snare drum, and he was playing along with songs. And my dad always wanted to play the drums. I think he just never, maybe they said they were too loud or when he was a kid or something like that. And he played other instruments. And my mom has always loved music too. But it was my dad's love of drums. Okay, so one day he went to a garage sale, came back with a set of drums. And my mom was like, what are you going to do with those? Where are you going to put them? He set them up in the garage. So we started just kind of playing on them for fun. And he said, look, I'm going to go take drum lessons. I'm going to come back. And Alan and Daniel, I'm going to teach you what I learned at drum lessons.
That's cool.
So we said, okay, cool. So he went to drum lessons, right? Because that's a third of the expense, right? Yeah. Only one person needs to go, not all three.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So he'd come back and we'd sit down and we'd try to learn what he learned. And I would follow along pretty exactly.
Yeah.
And Daniel didn't care about any of that. He was like, just set me loose on those drums. And Daniel started going crazy, man. And everything he would play, it was like noise. Like it was just banging on it and nothing sounded good. And then all of a sudden, he started putting some beats together.
All right.
And then he just took off.
It was almost self-taught.
Oh, yeah, completely self-taught.
Wow.
And he just left my dad and I in the dust. And he just became an amazing drummer out of nowhere. He's just messing around. So that started, and he was in 5th grade. Okay. So then he goes to my mom and dad and says, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to start a band. And they said, with who? You know, y'all are just kids. You're 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. He said, I already have my band. I have my singer, I got my bass player, I got my guitar player. And they were all learning how to play the instruments at the same time.
Right.
And he started a band.
Wow.
And I was the older brother, and he would have the friends over. They had a bass player, guitar player, they had a percussionist, and they had a vocal guy. And I was the older brother, and I'd be like, man, y'all aren't going to be any good, you know. This is, you know, just a fad. It's going to pass.
Right.
And then they started playing, and they started sounding pretty good. And so then I started getting jealous. I was like, yo, they're getting better, you know. I didn't want them to get better, you know. I wanted them to just stay where they were and, you know, whatever. And they started getting good. And then they brought in another guitar player. And, dude, this guitar player was amazing. So then they went from playing, you know, 3 and 4 chord songs to playing. They were playing Metallica, and they were playing Megadeth. And because this guitar player was awesome. At every rehearsal they had, it was like a party. You know, you'd get buckets of chicken and all this stuff, and all this food, and the parents would chip in. And I was like, man, they're sounding pretty good. So they would go play gigs, and I would be there, and I would watch them, and I'd help them break down. And then one day, my brother asked me to be the singer. I was like, well, I don't even know how to sing. He was like, you'll be fine. You just try it. So I tried it, and it stuck, man, and I loved it, and I fell in love with the music that way. And it was all self-taught. So we didn't play in band. We didn't play in high school band or marching band. But it's rock and roll. Rock and roll is real easy, you know, or easier of a genre. And we just did it just by ear, just for fun, for the love of it. And then it started getting serious. Started writing our own stuff. So, yeah, that's how we got into it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
A garage sale drum set started it all.
Yeah.
And then we went to our first concert. Our first concert, we went to go see Bush and Veruca Salt at Freeman Coliseum. Okay. And, dude, we walked in there. It was dark, and it was loud. God, it was so loud. And we saw him on stage, and we were like, we got to do that. Yeah. Whatever they're doing, that's what we want to do. And we were in love, dude. Yeah. We fell in love with rock and roll.
That's awesome, man. That's a cool story. I have a feeling at some point the band's going to get back together. Have y'all thought about it or talked about it?
You know, we talk about it from time to time, you know, and call the guys up and let's do it again and let's do it for fun and do it for the love of it. You know, because that's how we started. That's what it's all about.
I think so. You could find some gigs around town for sure.
Oh,
to have a good time. And,
for sure.
Yeah, put on the show.
Yeah.
The Rock and Realtors.
I like it. You might be onto something.
Who knows? Be on the lookout for it.
That's right.
Property Hermanos.
That's right.
But so you did that for a little bit, and you mentioned a story about your dad cashing out some money and buying a triplex, I think you mentioned. And that's kind of what sparked your interest in real estate. You want to talk about that?
For sure. So we were doing the music thing, and we loved it. Just working part-time jobs just to, you know, and luckily we were very lucky, man. Our family helped us through everything, and our girlfriends at the time helped us, you know, and they were supportive, and that support meant everything to us. So we were working part-time, and all of a sudden my dad decided to switch his retirement direction. He went self-directed with his IRA. First thing he did is he bought a threeplex. And he came to us and he was like, I don't know what I did. And, you know, I've never owned a house, and I bought it just out of the blue. And everyone says invest in real estate. So I
kind of like he bought the drum set.
That's right.
Just bought a house.
It's the impulse buy, right? So he bought it. And they got it rented, and, you know, the rent started coming in, and he said, oh, this might work. So he did it again, and then they did it again. And my brother and I looked at each other, and we said, whatever he's doing, that's the field we need to get into. Because everyone told us, I mean, even our grandparents and our uncles and aunts, y'all need to buy some houses. We were like, man, we can't even pay. We're losing money every month, and I'm living at home with mom and dad. How am I going to buy a house? Are you going to lend me some money? And so, we didn't have 2 dimes to rub together at the time. But then he started doing it, and he said, okay, Daniel and I looked at each other, and we said, whatever steps he's doing, we need to follow those steps. Yeah. Invest in real estate, get our real estate license, learn the business. And that's what really piqued our interest and sparked our interest in getting into real estate.
Do you remember what your jobs were, you and Daniel, right before you made the jump?
Yeah. So part of the thing, obviously we were going full throttle music. Yeah. So our parents, being good parents, they said, look, we'll help y'all do it, but you got to have a plan B. You got to have a backup plan. So they said, y'all need to get some jobs, and they need to be jobs, not just working fast food or something like that. So I was a pharmacy technician. My brother was a phlebotomist, and he was working as a paramedical examiner. And it was cool because we could make our own schedule. So if we needed to go on the road, or if we needed, some time to be in the studio, we could be flexible. Yeah. And that's what we were doing. But that was just to keep us alive, buy us a couple, hamburgers whenever we needed to eat, and, maybe a couple beers. But other than that, we didn't have anything else. Yeah. That was it. And our parents helped us with everything. Our family did. Our spouses did. Yeah. And we're, thankful for because really they gave us the opportunity to do it. For sure. And we loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Support goes a long way.
It was
even in real estate.
100%.
So having a support behind you definitely helps. So y'all said, hey, we're going to do this real estate thing. And y'all signed up, y'all went to Champions, I guess, six weeks?
So in 2016, over the summer, we took our classes at Sabor back to back. 6 weeks, we knocked it out. Daniel and I took the test, we passed it first time. And it was right before Daniel was getting ready to get married. So I jumped in the business first, and this is the weird thing. I started interviewing brokers, and they were in full wedding planning mode, right? Yeah. So I was taking all these interviews, and Daniel was like, well, I'm going to kind of wait. They got married in December. I got my license in September, so I started interviewing right away. First brokerage I went to that I really piqued my interest, I kind of just went with my gut, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to join. I was anxious to get started. I wanted to start learning, and, obviously everyone thinks real estate is get rich quick, right? Yeah. So it's like, I need to sell $1 million house real quick and, make
I wish.
Yeah, exactly. or right, what do they think? I'm going to get my real estate license. My phone's going to ring off the hook. Yeah. That ain't going to happen. Anyway, so I joined. And my first brokerage, I joined J.B. Goodwin Realtors. Loved the team over there. Loved the culture. The broker at the time is a gentleman named Reagan Greer, and I think you know him as well. Yeah. I think we both know him. Yeah. As soon as I met him, I knew he was the role model. I said, anything he's doing in real estate, I want to do what that man is doing. Yep. And the sales team over there was great. So I loved it. I joined right away. And Daniel said, and I told him, I said, dude, you need to come check out this company. He said, well, I kind of found another company that I like. And I was like, what are you talking about? So he ended up joining another company. So it was weird. We played music together for 20 years together. Yeah. I was the singer and the bass player, and he was the drummer. So it's like we were the rhythm section. Yeah. And then we get into real estate, and we ended up going to 2 different companies. Yeah. So it was weird. We'd be at, Thanksgiving, and he was like, my company's better than yours. I was like, no, it's not. My company's better than, so it was weird. We'd been together for so long, but it was good because we learned independently of each other. I think that really set a good foundation for us.
Yeah, for sure. Because and now y'all are a team, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. For sure. But y'all both know all of the ins and outs of how to generate business, how to do all the things. You might not like doing certain things, and you can share that now, but you know how to do them. Right. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So y'all started at separate places, and then y'all did that for about a year or so?
A little over a year, and then just the way that fate kind of took us, we were really hungry to generate more business. And we knew that we were going to be better together than separate. So we saw an opportunity with a boutique broker here in town. Great company, great broker, super aggressive in generating business. And we saw the numbers that they were doing and the numbers he was doing, and we said, man, we need to go that direction. We need to, up our numbers, up our exposure, up our lead count, all that other kind of stuff. So we ended up joining a company called Option One, and we loved it over there. Started generating business. We started making money. We were having a lot of fun. Our team was great. And that's when we officially joined forces as the Property Hermanos. It was just my brother and I. Yeah. And started having fun and making some money and learning a lot about generating business, right? Because that's the job of real estate, generating leads. So once we started putting those pieces together, things really started moving for us. And we haven't looked back since. We've been together since. And even with our latest opportunity with EXP, EXP is our third brokerage, but we knew we didn't want to be at separate companies anymore. So,
do you remember the techniques that company used and y'all used to generate those leads, and maybe something that you can tell the listeners of, like certain things that you felt really helped grow your business?
100%. It's very simple. The mantra and the mindset of that company was putting customer service above everything else. I think there's a lot of people in real estate that overthink things. And the number one piece of knowledge that we took away from that company and that method of generating business was to treat every person as if they're the only person on the face of the earth, right? It's almost like you look at somebody and you look at them in the eye, and your entire objective is, how do I make this person feel special? How do I make this person feel appreciated and taken care of, and that I'm listening to them? That changed our business, because when you put service first, everything else takes care of itself. Yeah. There's so many people, they get caught up in the scripting or the dialogue or hitting the phones or hitting social media, and it's almost like the customer service aspect has gone out the door. Yeah. I mean, think about, we could buy a steak at an all-you-can-eat buffet, or you can buy a steak from Morton's. What's the difference? Is the Morton steak better? It's probably a little bit better, but it's the experience. It's the customer experience. It's the service. It's the level of attentiveness that these servers put on your experience. So you take that, apply it to real estate. How am I going to make my clients feel special, feel listened to, feel loved, feel appreciated? Customer service for us is everything.
Love it. That's super powerful, and I couldn't agree more. All right, and relationship building, right, making somebody feel special. So you did that, and then you went to EXP. You mentioned that before. What was the thing that attracted you to that and to make the move to EXP?
So that's a great question. Honestly, we had heard a lot about EXP. But, back then in 2016, 2017, 2018, that time frame, the company was generating a lot of momentum, especially here in San Antonio. San Antonio is one of the biggest markets that EXP has in the entire world. Yeah. Back then, it was really blowing up, and we had heard a lot about it, but we weren't really paying attention to it because we were doing well. We were having fun.
And your business was good.
We were making money, and we didn't want to lose that. We didn't want to lose the momentum. So we kind of just zoned it out. There was one thing in particular that happened that changed my entire mindset on it. I was working in open house, and we were doing a barbecue, big function for these builders. And I saw a car pull up, and it had EXP on the side. I said, oh, man, I know they're going to come try to tell us why we should join EXP, all this stuff. And, nothing bad. You know, I didn't have anything bad to say about EXP. It just wasn't on our radar.
Sure.
And he came, he sat down, started telling us about it, and we started telling him, you know, we're doing good, and this is what, you know, this is what we have, and this is what we're doing, and this is what my company offers. And he said one thing in particular, and he said he was, you know, probably in his late 50s, early 60s, been with the company that he was with, the company with the balloon, right? He was with that company for a long, long time. And I asked him point blank, I said, what was it that made you move your entire operation to EXP? He said, it's very simple. He said, I only have about 5, maybe 10 years left in my career. And he said, so if I stop right now where I'm currently at, I'm not going to have anything to show for all these years that I've been in real estate. Because if I stop selling, I stop earning. And I said, well, yeah, that's right. I said, well, what's the difference with EXP then? Because we didn't know.
Yeah.
No one had told us about it. It was like that stigma, like don't look over there, you know, don't look. And he said, it's real simple, man. You can build your revenue share with EXP. You can build your stock portfolio in owning the company that you're pouring into. And you can leave it to your family. You can leave it to your children. You can leave it to your grandchildren. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, let's say you build an organization, a revenue share organization, that continues to grow. You can leave it to your heirs, and it will continue to grow even when you're not in the business anymore, or even when you're gone. That's legacy. You can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
That's something that will continue to grow once you're gone. You can leave it to your family. At that time, my brother was expecting his first baby. And I told him, I said, we need to look at this again. Like, this is real. This is a game changer.
Yeah.
And I told him about it, and he was completely against it. He was like, nope, I'm not moving. We're not doing it. It's a bad idea. I said, I don't know, man. Once that seed was planted, I reached out to the gentleman that told us about EXP. He told us about it in 2016. But we had just started, and, you know, we weren't going to be switching. We didn't even know how to do real estate at all.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him. I said, hey, man, I know we've talked about it years past, but we're ready to listen now. And it was that nugget. It was that one piece that completely changed my outlook. And I said, whatever it is, tell me about it. And my mind was open. And that's what we tell agents all the time. It's about having an open mind. Because if you're closed off to something, you're not going to hear it. Yep. It's just going to bounce off. And it's not going to resonate. So I said, I'm ready to hear it. So I went to a lunch and learn. And I didn't tell Daniel I was going. And he was very mad at me for going. He said, dude, you should probably just quit now. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. You're going to call me afterwards. You're going to say you need to check it out. I said, nope, I'm just going to go have an open mind, and nothing's going to happen. I just want to see it. But what do they say, right? Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And I called him afterwards. I said, bro, you got to check it out. He said, I do it. But what I had made up my mind already, I said, I don't want to go to another company where my brother's not there. Because it was uncomfortable. So months went by. I would mention it. He would shoot it down. Another month would go by. Hey, man, we should take a look. Nope. Didn't want to do it.
What was his biggest holdup?
His biggest holdup was he was comfortable.
Yeah.
He was comfortable. We were doing fine. We were making money. We were selling. We were busy. But I was looking past that. Yeah. I was looking, what happens if we have a slow month, if we have a slow quarter? What are we going to be building alongside our sales? There has to be more. Because it can't just be sell, yep, then die, right? Because realtors don't retire, they just expire, right? Yeah. We didn't want to be in our 80s putting signs in yard and lock boxes on doors, right? So I said, we have to be able to build something while we're doing this. And you can build it just by selling real estate, right? You're building your stock, you're acquiring more stock. You hit an icon, you get your cat back.
Yep.
You introduce people to the company. When they sell, you make money. You help them, you pour into them. It's a mutual benefit all the way around. So months went by, and my brother and I love to go have Thai food. So we were at a Thai lunch, and I was ready to just give up on EXP. I was like, this is going to be the lunch, and I'm going to tell him we're not going to think about it anymore, and I'm not going to bring it up again. So I sat down and I said, you know what? I've been talking to you about it for months. We keep having the same roadblocks. And I said, let's just forget about it. Let's stay where we're at. Let's sell more. We're going to do this. We're just going to sell. We're going to kill it in real estate. And dude, he floored me, man. And he said, you know what? I was actually thinking we should take a look at EXP. Dude, I just about fell out of my seat, dude. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? He said, you know what, Alan? I started doing research on my own. And he didn't tell me he was doing research on it. But he started looking into it. And he said, you know what? I have my baby on the way. And if I don't do this, and I'm going to get Daniel on the record. Next round 2, he's going to be here for it. And he'll tell you. He said, I made up my mind. He said, if I don't do this EXP move, it's going to be irresponsible of me as a father.
Yeah.
And he said, because I want to build this for my family.
Right.
To be able to grow. So I said, well, let's do it. Now, you know, like, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
Let's call him. Let's go to lunch. Dude, it happened fast after that. And we joined, and we haven't looked back. And, you know, we're building something great. We're having fun. We're making money. We're building relationships. And then we get to work with great agents like you and, you know, your circle. And we can't say enough good about the benefit and the positive that EXP has done for us and our business.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on and on about it, you know, and don't want it to turn into a full podcast about that.
Sure.
Maybe that'll be round 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like people that aren't open to seeing it or really digging in and finding out more about it just don't know. They're just very close-minded to it. And I don't know all of the brokerages out there and all of the models and all that, but I mean, you name it. To me, I go, name what you're lacking at your brokerage, and I bet you we have it covered in some sort of way.
Sure.
You know, and it's just like, I don't understand why people won't listen to it or see it. They're afraid, and it's change. Change is not easy.
Right.
You know, but it can be fairly easy.
Sure.
If you're done it the right way. You know?
Right. And the biggest thing is there's a better way to do it. There's an easier way to do it. And sometimes I ask people this as a hypothetical, but not really as a hypothetical. What if I could tell you that you could do the same thing that you're doing, but you could get paid 3 ways instead of 1?
Yeah.
Which one would you choose?
That's what happened to me this month. I mean, I had a closing and all this, but then it was like, oh, here's an extra $1,000 in the bank account. That's pretty cool.
Right.
You know, that there's really no other place like that.
Sure.
It's just like, there's another way to do that. Oh, and by the way, I got another stock award because I capped again.
Right.
You know, and then, so let's talk about business. You're a 2-time Icon agent. That's one of my personal goals that I'm shooting for here soon. Talk to us about, what does y'all's day-to-day, week-to-week look like? How are you generating the business? Obviously, you're on a position now to where it's probably quite a bit of referrals. But what does your day-to-day, week-to-week look like when you're trying to social media post? Are you doing mailers? Are you doing emails?
Sure.
How do you stay in front of people?
You know, that's a great question. That's always the curiosity. You know, how are you generating the business? And really, when it really comes down to it, it's about having those connections, having those relationships, having that database to not only nurture and take care of, but you almost feel like you have a mutual relationship with these people. You know about them. You care about them. Some of them grow to be our friends. Some of them are our friends and family from years and years ago. So we take care of those people. And we feel honored when we get those referrals. And we treat them just like we would treat our mom or my aunt or my cousin.
Yeah.
You know, and that, again, going back to that level of service, that's translated into a lot of referrals for us, which we're very thankful and grateful for. But other than that, Daniel and I talk about this all the time. When we wake up in the morning, we're almost hungry for it. It's like, where am I going to find business today? What are we going to post about today? What are we going to share today? What kind of information are we going to share today? We love social media. And that goes back to our music background, right? Yeah. We were big back in the MySpace days, right, with the band.
Yeah.
So social media was like second nature for us. Mm-hmm. So again, coming back into real estate or coming into real estate from the music stuff, it's like, what are we going to talk about today? We feel like we need to be constantly engaging with our audience, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So our social media is a big thing for us. Yep. So we get a lot of business from our social media, our referrals. We have some great referral partners that we partner with, you know, send business back and forth. From insurance providers to attorneys to lenders. You know, we do a lot of back and forth. For us, the name of the game is a symbiotic relationship. We want to help you, you help us. Let's generate business, let's close business, and let's do it together. Yeah. So we're very strategic with who we partner with, but a lot of it is organic. Yeah. A lot of sphere of influence, a lot of our database, and we wake up hungry and we stay hungry. You know, I think there's a lot of agents that run into a little bit of money and then they let off the gas. Yeah. And as soon as you start doing that, now you're setting your paychecks back 90 days.
Right.
Because what we're doing right now in October, it's going to close in January.
Yep.
If we're working with buyers, if we're nurturing sellers, if we're doing that. So you have to be 60 to 90 days ahead.
Yeah.
And here's one piece of advice that one of my mentors gave a long time ago. Your most important deal is your next one. Right? So you can't have $1 million mindset when you're worried about 2 or 3 people. I need more. I need to fill that pipeline. If I'm at 2 or 3 people that I'm working right now, I'm at a huge deficit because they're going to close within 30 days. How am I going to make money in January, February, first quarter of 2024? So always thinking ahead. But the biggest piece of advice that I could give for new agents is when you start, don't put so much pressure on yourself. My first year in real estate, I closed 4 transactions. 2 of them were my dad, investment properties for my dad, which to this day, my dad was my hardest client. No, he was a huge inspiration. It was my first day in real estate.
Yeah. Back
in 2016, my very first day. And he said, "Alan, I want to put in an offer." I said, "Dad, I don't know how to do that. What are you talking? I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I'm at. What is this real estate thing?" Anyway, so don't put so much pressure on yourself as a new agent. Have those reserves. I'm a mentor with the company. I love helping new agents. And I tell agents all the time, have those reserves. If you don't have them, don't quit your job yet.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people want to go full throttle into it. And I tell people all the time, even if you get a contract today, it might not close for 60 days. So what are you going to do in the interim? You know, you don't want agents to come from a place of desperation.
Yeah.
Because customers and clients can feel that. And no one wants a hard sell like that. Yeah. Nobody. So have those reserves. Learn. Take your time. Practice. And again, put service first. Start with your database. And just reach out and reconnect. You can't be a secret agent.
Yeah.
Right. We tell agents that there are agents that are seasoned in the business.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like we said, they take their foot off the gas. No one hears from them for 3 months. They say, what happened to you? Oh, I was doing okay, but now I'm desperate, right? And just like now we're in a different market. The agents that are really struggling right now are the agents that had a good year last year. They had a good first quarter this year. Maybe they had a good second quarter. And then they stopped generating business. Our job is to generate business.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest piece of advice is stay hungry. Even when you're doing well, you're not going to be doing well 90 days from now.
Yeah.
So I want to do well 90 days from now, 120 days from now.
Yeah.
So to do that, I need to be hunting now for that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any little tips or tricks on social media? So I know that you're pretty big into social media. What would you say is kind of drives your social media plan overall?
Social media is just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
You pretty much post every day, don't you?
Yeah, I have to. If I don't, there are some times where I'll go a day and I don't post, and then I start getting the jitters. I was like, I know there was something I was supposed to do yesterday.
Do you post multiple times a day?
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do. It just depends. But at least once a day, pretty much.
At least once a day. And stay consistent over multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs into the TikTok. Don't put all your eggs into Instagram or Threads or Facebook or Twitter.
Be everywhere.
Be everywhere.
Yeah.
And multi-purpose it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you pretty much use the same content kind of throughout all of them, right?
All of them.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, same thing. Our job as realtors is to stay top of mind. Where is everybody in this world that we're in, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's here. So we need to go where the people are. If the people are on the phone, we need to be there. So when their feed pops up, and it's not, okay, one of my biggest piece of advice, don't make it all about business. It can't be all about business because people get onto these platforms to have fun and to escape their work, right? They'll be on Facebook at their job because they don't want to be doing their job.
Yeah.
So they want to see people having fun. They want to see good content, fun content. Be yourself. And just like we talked about earlier, done is better than perfect. And I tell agents all the time, get in front of your camera. Get in front of that photo.
Yeah.
If you're showing the property, show yourself in the property, right? Turn that camera around because people want to see you. They want to see your face. They want to see your energy. They can feel it. They can feel it through the platform.
Right.
So energy, consistency, and just like we talked about earlier, keep uploading because people are watching you whether you know it or not, especially when you're a new agent. When you're a brand new agent and you announce you're a realtor, what is everybody thinking? I wonder if they're going to make it, right? How long are they going to be in the business, right?
Sure.
Because what's the stat?
It's crazy high.
87%.
Something like,
right, out of the business in a year to 2 years.
Yep.
So they know that. So they say, well, should I call this person? I want to buy a $500,000 house. Should I trust them? I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to see what they're doing, if they're doing anything.
Right.
So they're watching you. So put it out there. Have fun with it. Be natural. Be genuine. Authenticity is huge.
No.
Nobody wants that telemarketer voice. You know, when you're in person, you're laid back and you're fun, and then when you're on the phone, you're a completely different person.
Right.
You know, be yourself. And that's what is going to attract that perfect customer to you. Be more of an attraction magnet, more so than trying to do what you think people want to see or want or what they want you to be. Be yourself, because then you're really going to enjoy your work.
Right. For sure.
You know, it
makes a difference.
It makes it a lot more fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Well, I got through all my questions I have here. Any other little tidbits that you want to pass on to, or are you just going to wait for round 2?
Well, you know, I mean, I would love to have a round 2. If you'll have us back for a round 2.
Yeah, get your brother on here.
Yeah.
And we'll talk all kinds of stuff.
Well, you know, all I can say is real estate for us has been a blessing. We are very fortunate to be in this industry. And we're having fun. And, you know, we love collaborating with good people and meeting new people, talking to new people. And we appreciate you having us on here, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. You coming onto the show. You know, I'm looking forward to collaborating even more, making sure that we spread our message. I know you're doing a new Lunch and Learn, which is awesome, down at La Paloma.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, you want to mention that?
Yeah, so we have, we're starting we're getting our monthly Lunch and Learns back up and running. Our next one is on Friday, November the 3rd.
Okay.
And we're doing it over at Paloma Blanca there in Alamo Heights.
Cool. You send me a flyer. I'll make sure to post it on our Facebook group and get that word out.
Definitely, yeah. And come on out. You can hear a little bit about what the company offers. And, you know, if you're, just like you said, if you're an agent looking for something a little different, if you're looking to make more money, if you're looking to have more fun, if you're looking to collaborate with top producers, you know, again, we all know that I love the company and you love the company and everything like that. Just come see if it's a fit for you. Yeah. You know, I love to know what other companies are doing in the marketplace, right? So even if you want to just come take a look at it, no obligation. Lunch is on us. We have some great sponsors. So Union Home Mortgage is helping us out. Goosehead Insurance is helping us out. So come take a look at it. See if it's something you might be interested in.
Well, guys, go check out Property Hermanos on pretty much all the social channels. You'll find them. They're a great follow, great information, great agents here in San Antonio. That is our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of nuggets throughout the entire show. I really appreciate you sharing that. So if you did like the show, share it with a friend. If you know an agent that needs some help or is thinking about making a change or just wants a little nugget or two from this episode, share it with a friend. Drop us a review. Give us a rating. That really helps to grow the show. And make sure to join us on our private Facebook group called The Productive Agent. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to YouTube. So we thank you for joining us today. Now let's get out there and go produce.